Yeah. And yes, we are live. God. Mhm. Eee, who is here? If you can hear me, please say loud and clear. If you can hear me, say loud and clear. And then I want to apologize because I think I've been struggling. It's my network, but thankfully we are live. So I was Monday, Tuesday. Today is day 3, and it's amazing. So if you know that day 1, day 2 has been amazing, kindly put it in the comment section. Let me know. Has day 1 be amazing to you? Did you learn something? Day 2 has it been amazing to you? Did you learn something new? Yes, if you learn something new, please drop it in the comment section. And if you can hear me, let me know in the comment section. Just put loud and clear. Loud and clear. If you can hear me, put loud and clear. So today we are talking about effective method of preventing infection in sickle cell. Yes, everything we have been saying from day 1 is preparation, because we have to prepare us to actually understand the link between sickle cell and infection. How do people with sickle cell, why are they often prone to infection? It's not just enough for you to say, oh, my child is sickle cell, my child is always having infection, my child is having, there is a reason why that child is always coming down with infection. And many times it's not have nothing to do with the child. This is not the fault of the child. And this is not also your fault as a parent. This is just about us trying to learn and improve. So once you know, when you know that this is not the fault of the child, and this is not also you, so you can actually understand that this is why my child with sickle cell is need more profession, and then they need to actually have this they need to actually protect them more than the other people living with sickle cell. So yesterday we talked about mode of transmission. So there are various ways where people living with sickle cell are getting their infection from. So that was exactly what we discussed yesterday. We talked about oral, drug, direct contact, indirect contact. We talk about um, indirect contact. We talk about droplets. We talk about what else again? Seriously. Um, oh God. Anyway, let's leave that because I think that's I I think I'm loaded with whatever I want to teach today. So we talk about direct contact, we talk about indirect contact, we talk about water-borne infection, we talk about food-borne infection, we also talk about UTI. I decided to make that extra so that people can actually learn with that UTI. We talk about UTI. We also talk about blood-borne, how people with sickle cell can actually get some infection through the blood. And that was exactly what we discussed all through yesterday. Yes, we discussed all through yesterday. I don't know. My brain just wanted to delete that side. It's a lie. Anyway, so today we are talking about effective method of preventing infection. Everything we have been talking. So tomorrow we are going to talk about management. We have to talk about management. We have to talk today. We are talking about infection. What are the methods? There are some method that there is no how you practice it that infection will not reduce. I call it foolproof method, foolproof strategies that work at all time, except you are not practicing it, except you did not apply it, except you did not do what you are supposed to do. If you focus on it, if you do it, you will definitely prevent this infection. Some of us they say, oh, she's not always in the hospital, she's not always having infection. Nothing is like that. It's not because that we don't live with sickle cell. It's because we have actually understand that when you live with sickle cell, there are some things you just need to understand. There are some things you need to know. There are some things you need to there's some things you need to know. There's some things you need to understand. Like, this is how my body works. This is, when I went in our sickle cell crisis prevention class, because one of the things we teach is the differences, because the thing that will trigger my crisis will definitely not trigger another crisis. So there is a place where you have to tailor treatment. And the same thing with when it comes to this infection, you have to understand how your body works, how it works, what is your environment. There are some people that they don't have good access to good water in that environment. The only thing the people need to work on is to ensure that they find a way to ensure that their child have access, everybody in their family, in their household, have access to that clean water. That's all. Once they are able to fix it, then before you know it, infection has gradually reduced. Some people, they just need to focus more on maybe hygiene, environmental hygiene. There's some areas where you realize this is rainy season now. You see, there's a lot of stagnant water around their home. What are they supposed to do? They just have to find an extra way of preventing themselves. And that is why these people can easily manage, these people can easily manage their, how will I put it, can easily manage infection. So, as you are taking all these classes, as you're taking all these courses, you just have to pick the one that applies to you and just make changes in that area. So, no matter the area where you are, if you feel that the water is clean, everything is clean, you just maybe make sure that you want to do something more. Maybe it's just have to incorporate washing of hand regularly for your child, and that will be the only thing that solves majority of the problem. So no matter what is happening, you just need to understand that you have to pick a thing and apply it. See, the only thing when somebody said this thing is not working is when you don't apply it. If you don't apply it, once you apply it, it will work. And believe me, when it comes to management of sickle cell, there is nothing like I'm doing one thing. It is always an holistic approach. It's always a 360 approach. So you can't do one and say you're not doing other. So you look at the one, okay, I've been doing this, I've been doing it, I've been doing it. This is area where I need to step up my game. This is area I need to include. This is what I've not been doing. That's exactly how you do it. And you continue to get your result while you are doing that. So today, let me not bore you with a lot of talks. So today, we need to talk about effective method of preventing sickle cell. So I think it is time for me to bring my slide. Yes, it is time for me to bring this slide. Okay, you can see my slide. Module 3, effective method of preventing infection in sickle cell. So let's go. Introduction. Preventive measures are essential to reduce the frequency and severity of infection in people living with sickle cell. As we know that the immunity is compromised in people with sickle cell. So prevention is extremely important than cure in this case. Prevention is cheaper. Prevention is better. Prevention is safer, because by the time you go through cure, the child has gone through a lot of issues. The system has been hit. It's always safer. It's always cheaper. It's always better to focus on infection. So that's why I said prevention is extremely important than cure in this case. Prevention is not just an option. No, it is a life-saving necessity in the management of sickle cell disease. By understanding and implementing these preventive measures that we are going to discuss today, parents and individuals with sickle cell can significantly reduce the risk of infection, improve the quality of life, and prevent complications that can lead to hospitalization or even a very worst outcomes. Yes, if you can hear me, please let me see in the comment section that you can hear me. If you can hear me, put in the comment section loud and clear so that it just doesn't look like I'm talking to myself. So let's go to the next slide. Good. A healthy home, food for thought. A healthy home is a safe home. Every clean hand, purified drop of water, and protected wound is a step toward preventing infection in sickle cell. When I was writing this food of thought, I wanted to actually add it more, but I just, one of the thing about food for thought is that for us to actually have a thing to think about what we want to talk about. A healthy home, when your home is clean, when it is healthy, when there is breeze, a breath of fresh air in your house, it is a safe home. And what exactly make a home to be safe? A clean hand, a purified drop of water, protected wound is a step forward in preventing infection in sickle cell. So when it comes to sickle cell, everything counts. Every single thing. You see those things that you did not count, those things that they look like things that are not important, those things that look like things that are really not essential, they can't. They can't, especially when it comes to management of child with sickle cell. So what exactly are we learning in this module? Why are we learning? What is it in this module? So by the end of this module, participants will be able to understand the importance of infection prevention in sickle cell disease. You have to know why we have to prevent infection, even though we've done it previously. Identify essential vaccine for individuals with sickle cell, what they need to take. Explain their role in preventing severe infection. Explain the role of antibiotics prophylaxis, particularly penicillin therapy, in young children with sickle cell. This is not that common, but it is essential, it is important in preventing life-threatening bacterial infection. Recognize when and how to safely discontinue prophylaxis antibiotics. Ensure continued infection prevention while minimizing risks. Empower parents and caregiver, the major thing, with knowledge to advocate for proper preventive care in school and other places. So these are the things we want to talk about. And by the end of this lecture, you should be able to answer all these questions without doubt. So let's rush quickly this. This sign here is just a sign of bacteria, like germs. So spot the risks. Identify infection hazard in your home. Infection can easily spread through daily activities if hygiene and safety measures are not followed. Below her household infection rate. Yesterday when we were talking about mode of infection, I'm very sure by the time I came, I was talking about this is how it gets spread. These are the area where you can get all these germs, all these bacteria, how these are the mode of their transmission. This is exactly how your child is always getting transmission. So it means that we talk about airborne. It means that when your child gets exposed to air, they can easily catch an infection. When they drink water that is not clean, they can get an infection. When they eat unclean food, they can get an infection. When they don't properly care for their hands, they can get an infection. When they don't cut their fingernails short, they can get an infection. When they don't use clean clothes, they can get an infection. When they don't properly brush their teeth, they can get an infection. They can get an infection when they hug somebody that is sick, when they have unprotected sex in case of adults. Yes, when they do all these things, these are there. So that's why we are spots. We want to what? We spot the risks. So now let's talk about the risks, those risks. I've talked about everything in the mode of transmission. So when you shake and those surfaces in your house that are not clean, those are the risks that you need. But I just want to write out a few ones so that we can understand, we are able to spot these risks. Unclean hand, that is number one. Number one is unclean hand. I was working with a particular client at a point in time, and then the child has been doing extremely well. He was always having, he was always having infection from time to time, and after a while, the we everything we were doing was okay until this child started going to school. Immediately, the child started going to school, we start to have issues. 3 weeks in school, he came down with infection. Treated, we within the next 1 month, he came down with another infection and was sick. Good evening, ma'am. Thank you so much. And the boy was very, very sick. And at a point in time, then I asked, what exactly has changed in the schedule, the system, the structure that we have been working with from day one? I asked the mother, and the mother said something to me. Said, "Oh, the boys have started going to school now, and since he started going to school, things has changed." And I said, "Yes, that is where we are having infection." And then I decided to like give her we did a 4 steps. I gave her a 4 step that she needed to follow. And in fact, we had a role discussion on how she needed to talk to the teachers. In fact, we even went ahead in providing things so that the classroom can constantly have access to wash their hand regularly. You know, I told her, see, it's not that, do you have the money? Can we provide this for the classroom alone? He said, yes, we can. Then please, no matter what it costs you, let's look for the money. Do it, have a class. Everything, we had a session together and where I was able to explain everything to her. And that was it. Regularly washing of hands. We did it, and this is close to 1 year. He has not been admitted. The only time he goes to the hospital is for checkup. And the boy has been doing extremely well. Yes, he has been doing extremely well. Sorry, he has been doing extremely well. So unclean hands, as including adults, unclean hands, they are high risk place. Contaminated water and food, dirty or shared personal items. When we're talking about direct and indirect contact, we talk about items, personal use, those spoons that they use in eating food, those their utensils, all those things are where they can actually get infection from. Pure wound care, you have small children, most of them, they want to have, they are very, especially when it is boys, they are always rough. I have one in my house, they are always climbing. What you don't send it, they will climb. Before you know it, they already have one small wound. If you are not taking care of those wounds, it can easily cause infection. Stagnated water in our environment, it can be an issue. Crowded or poorly ventilated spaces, it can be an issue. So now when you spot these risks, have it at the back of your mind. Start thinking, start having a conversation with yourself. What is that thing that I'm going to change? What is that thing that I need to change? What is that thing that I need to practice when immediately after this class? So let's talk about prevention methods that work at all time. Hygiene. Hygiene is one of the prevention methods that is foolproof. It was. I shared a story like that, this story, and I told you one thing we put in place was a proper hygiene. The child has been on prophylaxis, on this, and I was like, okay, I think this is where we are getting it wrong. And since it has been followed thoroughly, 1 year. In fact, I can eat. I think there is a chart. There's a chart that we had last year. The boy is doing extremely well, extremely well. I started having managing the child when he was maybe 1 year, and he was having frequent crises. And the child is doing well, so well now. So let's talk. Hygiene is the simplest, yes, most effective way to protect against infection. Hygiene is the simplest, yet most effective way to protect against infection. In fact, let me add to it, is the cheapest, very cheap. Teaching children good hygiene habits from an early age build lifelong habits. When we talk for people who are part of the Sickle, one thing we are teaching in that place, Sickle is a circle, is a group that we have for people that have children with sickle cell. It's only for parents. We don't want people that live with sickle cell in this circle. We are only targeting parents alone. And then we are teaching them how to create effective systems that work. I don't want to be working with parents that today, this one is not. Let's create a system that help your child to drink water, a system that help them to be independent. They can go to the hospital, they can follow their routine checkup, they can do whatever they are supposed to do, and they can live that normal life. People say, oh, it's not possible for you to live a normal life. I can tell you, you can live a very normal life. So even going for my checkup is nothing abnormal. It's only in Nigeria that we look at going to checkup is abnormal. It's not abnormal. So even when you fall sick once in a while, it's nothing abnormal about it. But you just understand that you need to have a good lifestyle. And that was exactly why we created a circle. One of the things we do is to ensure that our children have habits. They develop an habit that even though when you are not around, these children can properly take care of themselves. Even though without you, even though when you're not around. So by the time they get to 15 years, by the time they are going to the university, you can sit down and relax because they can take care of themselves. That's what is lacking in most parents. I say, I don't want my child to travel. These people have been going to camps. They can go to camps and then they will do well. They will come back. They will not fall sick. That's exactly what we are doing. Habit, lifelong habit and system that gives long-term immunity protection and reduces hospital visits. Hygiene. And when you teach it as an early stage, like I said, whenever we are teaching them how to build an habit. Habit doesn't fail because habit is part of them. So you don't need to be shouting, you have not drink water when you have created an habit. No, you don't need to be shouting, you have not washed your hand. So one of the things we are teaching today is how to create that habit. What is hygiene? Hygiene refers to the practice and habit that help maintain cleanliness and prevent the spread of germs, infection, and diseases. It includes personal hygiene, food hygiene, and environmental hygiene, and more. See, even when they say that cleanliness is next to godliness, it is actually very, very key. It is very key. When you read, if you are Christians, I'm very sure it's not everybody here that is Christian, but if you might decide to read it. It doesn't matter. Just read it like you're reading a book. You can decide to read it. If you read the Old Testament, you realize that God created a lot of rules for people with sickle cell. Sorry, a lot of for people of Israelites. It talks about when they are in camp, when somebody has leprosy, how they needed to take that person out. If you follow what is being on, leprosy is actually a bacterial infection that is highly infectious. So it means that if that person remain in that camp, before you know it, everybody in that camp will have that infection because they are in a camp, they are closely together, there is no proper, these people are in camp. That was exactly what happened. And God created a link. There's a book I read them, Jewish and God protection. It explained these things in details. Godliness, cleanliness is next to godliness. You have to be clean, and that's how you prevent yourself. So why is hygiene the first step in preventing infection? Hygiene is the foundation of infection prevention because it reduces the risk of bacteria, viruses, and fungi from entering the body. Remember, we said in day one, we said that the spleen is inefficient. There are some bacteria that when they enter into the body, the spleen is supposed to filter them away. But in people living with sickle cell, that screen that is supposed to filter them is no longer working. It's not working properly. So it means that it cannot filter this bacteria. So one of the things that hygiene help you to do is that this bacteria will not even enter. And it's not only about bacteria, viruses, fungi, no matter what it is, it stop them from entry into your body. So when they don't enter into your body, there is no how you want to develop infection. There is no how you want to be armed. No, they do not enter your body. Infection occur when harmful microbes invade the body, often through dirty hands, contaminated food, unclean surfaces, or direct contact with infected people. Did you remember what we teach yesterday? This is exactly what we teach while we talk about the mode of transmission. So how hygiene prevents infection? Remove germs before they enter the body. Breaks the change of infection spread. During COVID, everybody was talking about washing hands. A lot of people did not get it. What they are telling you is that immediately, even though if you check somebody, as long as you wash your hand, you are not taking COVID, you are not able to get over it. And because of that regular hand washing, is one of the things that help to contain COVID. The same thing during Ebola time. One way is that when people start to wash their hand, when people, see, we often joke with hand washing. As somebody that is in the earth, please, as someone that is in earth, in fact, I started my career in earth in the lab. Yes, I started in the lab. I did some works in the lab, but I realized that I have a better option. So when I was working at the tuberculosis center, I think they posted me in the lab, and other departments are there. And it was at that point, even though when I was working in lab, I decided to tell myself I want to be in this other department. I started working with them. I started going out. I started learning with them. Before you know it, I started doing a lot of work on advocacy and community engagement. Yes, but if you have worked in lab, you will know that one thing that help you is because you are dealing with, you are working with samples, infected samples. So after you finish dealing with that sample, are you not going to eat your food? You will eat your food. But how are you going to ensure that you don't get those infections? It's by washing your hands. You are always washing. That's how you break the chain of infection from spreading. It also boosts the immune system defense because the immune system is not regularly breakdown. It's not in a state of they are always fighting. So if infection is not coming in the body, the immune system they are using that opportunity to build themselves. Anytime somebody comes, they are well prepared. It's not until when they start getting in this infection and then they get overwhelmed. So it helps to boost the immune system. Prevent common illness in people with sickle cell. Yes, we all know that. So let's talk. One of the things the first thing we want to talk about in hygiene is hand washing. Let's talk about facts about hand washing in infection prevention. Reduce infection transmission. Proper hand washing with soap. When we talk about hand washing, please, I'm not talking about water alone because water alone is not efficient. It's not efficient. Soap. Water and soap, that is what works. That is what will give you results. Water and soap. Proper hand washing with soap can reduce the spread of infectious disease by 50%. See, everything we are going to talk, everything we are going to discuss when it comes to management of sickle cell, if the only thing you can implement, let me put it like that, if that is the only thing you can implement is proper hand washing system in your home for your child and in the school, you are able to build this habit. See, my people, you have successfully reduced their infection by 50%. In fact, I don't want to, it's more than 50% too, but let's put it at 50%. So the remaining one that you want to teach is just 50 or extra 50%. So everything else I'm going to teach apart from this hand washing Add all those things together and put it for 50%. But you see this one, if you follow it properly, you will reduce it by 50%. So it means that if your child is regularly is going to the hospital 5 times in a year because of infection, if you start implementing proper hand washing, the child will not have infection more than once or twice in a year if you focus on it. So if there's anything you don't want to practice, please practice this proper hand washing. Prevent respiratory and gastrointestinal infection. Washing hands regularly can lower the risk of respiratory illness. What do we call this respiratory? For a child that lives with sickle cell, pneumonia is very common in people with sickle cell. And now they are telling you that when this child learn how to proper wash their hand, it will reduce their risk of having pneumonia by 23% and diarrhea disease by 40%. So a child that's constantly having pneumonia, if you follow through, it means that you have reduced their risk by 23% and diarrhea diseases by 40%. See, if you have a child, when you come to health care, and then you have a child, the child is not up to 6 months, and you tell us, oh, the child is vomiting, the child is stooling. The first thing we know, you don't need to tell us that we know that you have introduced something, is your hygiene. Is the reason why that child is stooling and vomiting. Then we start to teach. We start after treatment. The first thing we want to do is to properly start asking questions. Are you giving this child water? Are you giving this child herbal concussion? Who is handling the child? How do you take care of the child? Okay, do you give feeder? Now, sometimes when we ask are you giving feeder, is because we want to know if the child is getting those infection from the feeder. So we want to ask, okay, the plate, the water, even though you tell us no, we still have to sit you down and teach you a proper way on how to manage that child. Because if you follow the rules, it means the child will not come down. The child will not be having diarrhea and vomiting. They will not be dealing with diarrhea. So something has introduced a germs into their system. That is why they are having that diarrhea. And they said that if I just hand washing, if not talking about other aspects of hygiene, it will reduce by 40%. Kill germs effectively. People will tell you, they said COVID is virus, and it's soap and water. Can it infection? Yes, it is effective. It is more efficient than even your what do we call it? This thing that we use, sanitizer. It is only when you don't have access to sanitizer, you don't have access to water and soap, that it is encouraged for you to use hand sanitizer. So, and soap and water over hand sanitizer. Alcohol base, and look at it, there's a condition for alcohol base. Soap and water remove bacteria, viruses, and fungi better than using water alone, and also better than sanitizer. Alcohol-based hand sanitizer with at least 60% of alcohol are also effective against many germs. There is at least that hand sanitizer will have at least 60% alcohol. If it doesn't have up to 60% alcohol, my brother, my sister, whatever you are doing is not effective. You are doing things that is not effective. Protect people with weakened immunity. Who are the people that that have weakened immunity? There are people that have chronic illness. You have people maybe that have diabetes, people that have hypertension, people that live with sickle cell, people that have cancer, people that have HIV, like that. They have a weakened immune system. So today we are talking about people like me that have sickle cell disease. Those with sickle cell disease are higher risk of infection. Maybe proper hand hygiene, very critical in preventing life-threatening complications. Prevent the spread of superbugs. Hand washing helps stop antibiotic-resistant bacteria. There are some bacteria that are antibiotics resistant. It means that when you use, sometimes people said, oh, I've been treating this infection. I've been treating it over and over and over and over and over again because your antibiotics you can get resistant to your antibiotics. So if a child continue to take a particular antibiotic, after a time, um, those bacteria, they become very, very resistant. So that's why we call them antibiotic resistant bacteria. And it is dangerous, especially when you now live with sickle cell. So it's prevented from spreading, because if you wash your hand regularly, you will not get infected with antibiotics resistant bacteria. So there's no need for you to even use, in fact, when you don't have infection, there is no need for you to use antibiotics. When you are not using antibiotics indiscriminately, there's no how you want to have a risk of antibiotics resistance. Yes, it cannot happen. It can't happen. So because any small thing, even though if you have small, by the time you now have small infection, if you give you all these small antibiotics, it will work. It will work because you are not dealing with anything very, very, and those antibacterial, they are not antibiotics resistant. Ash watching is low cost but high impact practice that can save millions of lives worldwide. So what are the key moments? What do you want to teach that child that lives in sickle cell? You want to teach them the key moment they should wash their hand before eating or preparing any food, after eating, when they go out and they come back inside the house, they should wash their hand. When they play with pets, with their mates, let them wash their hand. After coughing, sneezing, or touch any contaminated surfaces, let them wash their hand. After handling the garbage, changing of diapers, some of us, we have younger kids, you know, there's something I didn't add it, but maybe I just overlooked it. There's something we call fecal oral bone infection. These are these are what causes cholera, typhoid, diarrhea in children. What is, we all know what fecal is, feces. This, poo. When the child, when they mishandle this, their poo, and then they use the same hand to eat food. So by the time they do that, they start dealing with typhoid. They start dealing with cholera. They start dealing with diarrhea. Those are the things that causes diarrhea. So by the time, if maybe you have a younger kid, and you have your child with sickle cell, they help you to change your diapers. In fact, a lot of some parents, they will change diapers, they will not wash their hand. And yet you'll be asking yourself, why are you not washing your hand? Hmm? And then the next time the person is like, oh, throughout yesterday I was stooling. I don't know where I got. Is that diaper that you changed and you did not wash your hand? So you have already injected that thing. And it's already, it is very, very fast. It's activated that cholera inside of you. And before you, diarrhea, and before you know it, you're already using toilet every now and then. And children, they will go and use toilets. You see them, they are playing with toilet seats. It's there. They are playing with toilet seats. If you are not careful, after they play with that toilet seat, after they finish using the toilet, after playing with that toilet seat, they will still use the same hand. They will still use it to eat. So almost 80%, if you have children between 0 to, if you have children generally, see, if your child is 80% of where they are getting their infection from is from their hand. 80% of where they are getting those infections from is from their hand. So by the time you put proper hand washing system in place, my God, you just realize that you are getting a very good result. So you want to teach them those moments. And then see, it's not enough for us to say, I told you, anytime you go to the toilet, you must wash your hand. Children don't learn like that. Children imitate. That's why there is no how. You can't, people in the second, no, we are not teaching our children. You have to do it. They learn. That's exactly how we say we are creating a system. Everybody in the house, including daddy, including mommy, including every other person that are not living with sickle cell, they must practice hand washing. That is when you get results. You cannot be teaching a child with sickle cell in isolation. They will not, they will feel isolated. Why am I the only person washing water? And they say it's because you are not strong now. It's because you are always sick. It's because you are always sick, We don't want you to first go and wash your hand, and those one did not wash their hand. Believe me, the next time she will not wash her hand. because she wants to prove to them that I'm not always sick. I am strong. I am odogu. And before you know it, the infection will occur until they get to maybe adults. That's when that thing will. But if you want to get that result, everybody in your house must follow that system. So it means that when you are talking to her, you're not talking to that child alone. No. When you talk to that child alone, you will not get results. They will revolt. You want to call everybody at home and say, please, see, have a conversation with your husband. If you're a man that you're listening to me, have a conversation with your wife. So you want to call your wife, you want to call your husband, you want to talk to them and say, oh, this is exactly what we learn when it comes to prevention infection. I feel like we should have a system in place in the home that help these children to properly wash their hand. And when you are making the rule is for everybody. So immediately you are setting up a system that immediately that is coming from the outside. Good morning, good evening. How are you? Welcome home, sir. Thank you, sir. The daddy is dropping his bag. Daddy is entering maybe bedroom or the kitchen, wherever the sick is. If there's no sick, maybe you have to get something. During those things that we use during COVID, all those rubbers that they can actually open, let it put it in a designated area in your house so that they can actually get and wash their hand. Then there is a soap beside it. What's it called? Soap. Any soap you have, liquid soap, anything, just put it there. Then daddy is washing his hand. You don't have to do it 1 week. Believe me. 1 week, everybody is washing hand in the house. Then there is an instruction that there is maybe a sticker that you place. This moment, wash your hand after you put it there before eating, before you prepare food. Put it in a strategic place where they can see it. Yes, a place where they can see. You see the way I'm touching this wall? Put it in a place where they can see it. Then put it, just take it there. Explain to the kids. No matter if you have 5 kids, you have 10 kids, put everything together, put all of them together, and then instruct them of the rules. Tell them, teach them about infection. Teach them about things that we don't use our heart to see. Infection are those things, germs that we cannot use our hand to see, and they are always giving us infection. You don't want to make it about that child that lives with sickle cell alone. If you make it about that child alone, the child will revolt because it's like isolation. It's something we call subtle stigma. We don't know that it's a seed, but it exists as parent. So you want to call everybody and then discuss with them. Place it there before you eating, before you prepare your food, after using the toilet, after you cough, sneeze, touch, after you play with, if you have pet at home, after you play with pet, whatever name you call that pet, put it there. After you handle the garbage, after sweeping, after changing their pass, after just list all those. It can be 10, it can be 20, whatever. As it comes to your head, put it there and then add it into a system. So in 2 weeks or in 1 month, these children will have built an habit that makes them to work. Even though when they go outside, you will see them, they follow that rules, even though when you're not there. They will go and give their friend, immediately they hear that they will ask, can I wash my hand? See, this is not OCD. This is an habit that you create in them. They will tell you, oh, I want to wash my hand. Before they eat, they will tell you, I want to wash my hand. Can I wash my hand? It doesn't matter if they are using spoon. All of us know that we use spoon. At the end, when it is time for us to use meat, we use our hand to take the meat. They didn't wash their hand, they will get infected. Yes, they will get infected. So because sometimes you don't even know what the children have used their hand to touch. They will touch somebody's head. They will touch even their school bus. The way they handle things, those are where they get those infections. So they must regularly wash their hand to minimize the way they inject this infection into their body. So once you place that thing there, you discuss with everybody. Mommy is doing it. Daddy is doing it. Children learn by imitation. So as long as they watch you doing it, they will do it. As long as they watch you do it, my child was and every time. There is no place I have said this is how you want to do it. The only thing I taught him now is how to properly wash his hand because I know it is time for him to. I taught him how to wash his hand. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wait so that we can count like 20 seconds. That was exactly what we did and teach him how to wash properly. But he washing it. Immediately he's coming from school, he wants to wash his hand. Once you use the toilet, he wants to wash his hand. Once if you go inside the toilet to urinate, you will wash his hand. Why? Because I am constantly doing that. He has seen it, that's the normal way to live. Okay? So hand washing versus hand sanitizer, I already mentioned it. Soap and water are more effective than hand sanitizer against certain germs. So washing or with soap and water is extremely important. Hand washing with soap can prevent 1 in 3 diarrhea illness and 1 in 5 respiratory infection in children under 5. Respiratory infection that happen in children, we want to talk about pneumonia, acute chest syndrome. These two are dangerous and they often affect people with sickle cell. So, and these two, you can prevent it by what? You can prevent it by 1 in 5 by washing of your hand regularly. Because pneumonia will, in sickle cell, when somebody has pneumonia, within the next 5 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, the person has graduated to acute chest syndrome. So hand washing is actually one thing. I call it full, like Oh, please, can you hear me? Please, can you hear me? I think I'm back. Oh, please, if you can hear me, let me know. Let me know if you can hear me, please. Okay, thank you. Thank you. So, okay, washing. So, thank you. I don't know. Our device just off. I guess maybe while we are trying to log in for the trying to do something. But thank God we are back. Mm. So where did I stop? Okay. So hand washing with soap can prevent one in five respiratory infection in children under 5. So people with sickle cell, yes, people with sickle cell are often at, in fact, pneumonia is the most common one. And when they practice regular hand washing, they can actually reduce that bacteria that causes infection for them. They can actually reduce it by 50%. So it means that by the time you now had other methods to eat, then they can actually stay for a very long time without having infection. So proper hand washing techniques. Use clean running water, warm or cold, and soap. During COVID, if you notice that everywhere there is this particular rubber tap for people that doesn't have it at home, that doesn't have it, and you want to do it, you can always get something like that. So it make it a space, maybe set up in a place where they can easily wash their hand. I don't know, but I know that most house now um have access to sanitary bowls that they use. So if you don't have, you can always invest, just like the one we did during COVID. Just get those rubber. It already have a tap inside. It can help you fix it. Only under 5,000 naira. You should be able to get small one and put it in a place where they can easily wash their hand. And then I think that most kitchens too, they have sink and they have maybe water. Just find something that you can do that can make them wash their hand. Use clean running water. Soap is very, very important. And soap. Please use clean running water and soap. Rub hands together. Rub hands together for at least 20 seconds. One of the things this is the things the way I explain it. So when you are washing your hand, let's say this is the hand you're washing together, you are washing together. Just teach them to count 1, 2, 3. We just need for at least 20 seconds. It can be more than about at least 20 seconds so that the soap let it foam very well. So you now count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So while they are washing this place too, they count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So as the way they are washing their hand, let them wash everywhere. Their fingernails, the back of their hand, the middle, the finger. Let them wash everybody. So you just have to teach them. Maybe look for one day and teach them how to properly wash their hand. So when they wash their hand, you are teach them properly. The first time they might not get it. So you know that you need to constantly teach them. So every day, maybe on Saturday, you call everybody, this is wash your hand. Let me see. Let me see the way you wash your hand. So let everybody wash their hand. Then you will now say, okay, you try. So this is how you should properly wash your hand. Then you now demonstrate it for them. Then you ask everybody to try it again. By the time they do it the first time, the second time, before you know it, if you have small children, 2 years, 3 years, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. When they count it inside, some of them they turn it to song. One like my son. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And before you know it, he has finished his hand. So why is counting and singing that 1, 2, 3, 4 as a song. It makes it interesting for him. You know, children, they like phones. Anything that is play, anything anything that is fun, that's what they like. Jesus. Something fell down. The lightning we're using, I think it's fine. So as long as children like what is fun, they like everything that is interesting. So before you know it, they are going to always, they are going to grab it very, very quickly. So you encourage them to wash their hands before meals, after using the restroom, playing outside, coughing, sneezing. Create hard-worthy chat with Tiger as a reward system. One of the things we teach is reward system. Now, when we talk about this reward system, it's not money. It's not money. It's not other things. So now you can create a sticker. You can even cut maybe all these small, small sticker, or even get maybe a cardboard, cut it into pieces, and then give it out. So it means that if you regularly wash your hand, you're just like when you come back from school, you wash your hand, you will get a sticker. So when they get that sticker, by the time that sticker is up to 10 or 15, they can use it to exchange for something, like maybe they can use it to play more. If they are supposed to watch their cartoon for, let's say, 1 hour, 1 hour. So if they have 10 sticker, they can watch their cartoon for 1 hour, 10 minutes. I hope you get it. 1 hour, 10 minutes. So on that day where their sticker is up to 10, they can decide to enjoy something more, or they can decide to have a me time, or they can decide to something that is, it's not about money. It's not about you are buying them things. It's not, no, that's not it. And then believe me, while you are teaching them that, you are also trying to build a habit for them. And then see, the thing I explained to you before, if everybody creates a system, if everybody is doing it, you don't make it their business alone. The children will follow it, and you will get results, even without you giving them sticker, even without you creating any reward system. Use song or timer to make handworthy fun and engaging. I've already explained that. So you don't even need to give them, just ensure that they follow it. As long as you are doing it, as long as everybody in the house is doing it, you see, it will be and something easy for that your child with sickle cell. So it's not only everything we are doing, it's not just you are making the approach to be only for that child with sickle cell. That child with sickle cell is an isolation. You're isolating the child. So the child is asking herself, what is wrong with me? Why am I the only person washing my hand? Why am I the only person that is not allowed to do this? Why am I the only person not allowed to do this? But if you create a system that works, because everybody needs to wash their hand, including me, including you, including those that don't live with sickle, everybody has access to infection. So even though if your immunity is strong, one way you can weaken your immunity is to constantly be getting exposed to infection. So you don't even want to do that, because before you know it, after a while, you have typhoid is there. There's a lot of disease that is there. And then even though when you have a stronger immunity, it can take time before you even take care of this issue. And then at that point in time, it will have become chronic. It will have spoiled other things in your body. So everybody needs to wash their hands. So just create a system that ensure that everybody, don't make it about that child alone. Make it everybody business, and then you will get results. You will get results. Bathing and skincare to prevent infection. Bathe your child daily using mild antibacterial soap. It's not everybody that use antibacterial soap, but use a mild soap. Please use a mild soap. It's not everybody, like, because we have good bacteria. You have good, what is it called? You have good bacteria in our skin. Just use a mild soap, soap that is not harsh on the body. keep the skin moisturized, because when there is a lot of dryness, there are cracks, the bacteria can easily enter. Pay special attention. You know, there are some people that they have skin fold around their necks, or maybe there are people that are chubby. Yes, it's not everybody that live with sickle cell that is not fat. We have some people that are very, very chubby. So all those places that have skin fold, especially people that have maybe smaller children, they can have skin fold. Please pay attention to it. Regularly clean it so that they don't have, it can prevent fungal infection. Before you know it, you see all this place, you start having a lot of things. Their nails, ensure you are constantly cutting their fingernails, cutting and keep them clean. So you want to look at, if you look at children and you see that their fingernails is always dirty, it's because of the way they play. It's always dirty. So you want to ensure that you cut it and then clip the nails clean so that they don't inject. Because as they are eating food, by the time they want to eat food, they can transfer germs from under that nail. You know, on Monday I talked, you see Monday or yesterday, I talked about how we culture this dirty under our fingernail when I was in university. And then the kind of bacteria that grew in that culture, it was actually a lot. So you don't want to infect them. Oral hygiene. Yes, there is something linked with sickle cell and brains there, and your teeth, because our oral health too is affected with sickle cell, because it means that when you live with sickle cell, you have at higher risk of developing infection in your teeth, and also getting your tooth decay. So you want to ensure that they have oral, because see, by the time you eat a lot of this food, all this sugary food, you are creating a space for bacteria to develop. See, you are creating a space for bacteria to develop. And when those bacteria develop, they feed on those sugar. So when you eat food and you want to go and sleep, at that time when you are going to sleep, when you close your mouth, it creates a space for bacteria to develop. Now, as somebody with sickle cell, those bacteria, by the time they create time, maybe the child forget to maybe wash their teeth for one day. That bacteria, they have actually, while she's eating, you have swallowed that bacteria. And then that thing will cause what? Infection in them. So you want to brush the teeth daily, twice with fluoride toothpaste. Brush teeth, the first thing in the morning and the last thing at night. So ensure that you create a system. A child will not brush their teeth if they are the only person that is brushing teeth morning and night too. They will ask you, why am I the only person brushing teeth? Papa is not brushing her teeth, so I will not brush my teeth. It's simple. They will not brush teeth, and there's nothing you will do. You will just be shouting, you know, and then see, every time you remind them that you know, you are not as strong as other, you are stigmatizing them. You are actually giving them a reason for them to tell them that they are not normal. That's exactly how they interpret your talk. When you tell them, you know, you are not like others, you are actually telling them that they are not like others. They are not as good as others. Something is wrong with them. That is the way children will interpret whatever you're saying. So instead of you try to repeat yourself, try to create something that makes you to always want to talk about, oh, you know that you are not good in, you are sick, you know that it's because of your health, you know your health condition, you know this, why you are always bringing that their sickle cell as a reason. You have to create a system that involves everybody in the home. So everybody is washing their teeth morning and night. If it is a routine in the house, if I come to it like now, I wash my teeth morning and night. My son wash his teeth morning and night. If somebody comes into the house, if you see that out, you came the first day, the first day, you realize that we wash our teeth morning and night. The second day, morning and night. The third day, even without us telling you that wash your teeth, you will also want to stand up and brush your teeth, because you're like, won't I look like a very the only dirty person inside this house? Before you know it, you are also brushing your teeth morning and night without me even opening my mouth, without me even talking, without me telling you that you realize that you're supposed to wash your teeth morning and night. No, that's exactly how people create habits. And for children, it's faster. They want to be like, see, children are always looking up to their parents. They're also looking up to their brothers, to their sisters. So one way you want to ensure that these people follow your rules is to just put it. Everybody needs to wash their teeth morning and night. So it's not only that child with sickle cell. So get a floss. One of the things that, don't stop using a toothpick to brush your teeth. Teach them too. So no matter what you want to do, allow children. One of the things you can allow them to be in control is that allow children to choose their toothbrushes. You can always get different colors, one that is colorful, the one that is fine. Supervise them while they wash. While you are washing. When I talk about brushing of teeth in children, see, it's always very easy. I remember when I was I started, my teeth, I removed my teeth, and I asked to be very serious with brushing of my teeth. Very, when I started, it was like I will ask myself, oh, let's brush teeth. He will not answer me, but I will not talk to him. I will just go and take my brush, and start brushing. Before you know it, now it has become an habit. Like nobody is talking. It's even the one that will remind you, oh, are you not going to brush your teeth? Oh, I will brush my teeth. I'm still working. That's the last thing I do if I enter. So, okay, let's go and brush our teeth. You just try this method, you realize that it works. Disinfecting touch surfaces. If you have children that have toys, please constantly disinfect it. The surfaces they are constantly using to play, disinfect it. Get yourself jig, hypo, those water you want to use, put it. Read the instruction on either you are using hypo or jig or whatever disinfectant you are using. Please read the instruction and follow through. Then use it and use it to clean surfaces. Then this will help you to kill the germs on the surface in your house. Get somebody, if possible, if you have what it takes to outsource, please do it, because there's a lot of things to do. Do it. Regularly clean your doorknobs, light switches, toy, mobile device with disinfectant wipes. These are the places where children will always get infection. You see, especially that door knobs. We often don't count it as a way where people are getting infection, but it's a way, because even though when you clean your hand, imagine you use a restroom now and you clean your hand, are you not going to open? You open it, and when you are coming, your hand is dirty. You also use that dirty hand to open. And if you use your wash hand to touch the same place, you have reinfected that your clean hand. You have reinfected it. So you have to wash, you have to clean just on Friday. In fact, when you are doing these things, always carry everybody along. If you have children, please carry them along. If you have a child with sickle cell, carry the child along. The doorknob of their room, they can clean it. Put it as part of their work every day. Tell them to always clean that. Get them a wipe. So you clean this once daily. Clean in the morning, or maybe clean at night when you come back from school. By the time you do it, clean it, give it to everybody at home. So the only one that you are left to clean, give it to somebody. Okay, the doorknob of your bedroom, of the sitting room, of the, so this, you will be the person in charge to clean all the doorknobs, all the handles, all these door handles in our house. This is, you clean the one in your room, you clean the one here, you clean the one, and you are good to go. This is, avoid clusters, anything that can collect dust, airborne bacteria. One of the things where people get infected with mold, because one of the things is mold affects people. So, sometimes we wash clothes, we are not using our clothes, especially when you have a lot of clothes. You put it inside your wardrobe. If those clothes are not well dry, they gather bacteria, they harbor bacteria, fungi too, they harbor mold. You see that thing, the thing if you remove the clothes, you will see those mold on the clothes. If you once, in fact, I can't even perceive it, because immediately I perceive it like this, you just see the way I'll be sneezing. Yes, so it affects people. Sometimes you see some people that where there is water. If you enter their room, you will see mold on the door, on their walls. All those mold, HIV, sickle cell in that kind of home, they will constantly be getting infection, because yes, that proper ventilation. If you have that, let them replace, and mold can actually you look have money place so that it stops. So once in a while, even though if you keep your clothes in the, especially their clothes, the clothes that they wear on their own too long, look for one day, look for one day, look for sons outside, look for one day. Okay, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Hello, ma. Can you hear me? Please let me know. You said I can't hear you again. Please, can you hear me now? Let me know that if you can hear me so that I can do what I'm supposed to do. Okay. So, okay, yes, thank you. So when you why let them spread it in the sun. So by the time they spread it inside on the sun, all this mold, it will leave them, it will leave the place. Let them, even though they don't wash it, let them spread it in hot sun, then they will be okay. As okay, okay, thank you, ma. You can hear me now. Thank you, ma. Always wash hand before you prepare or eating food. Store perishable items in the refrigerators. Avoid undercooked meat that is not well cooked or unpasteurized. Wash fruit and vegetable with salt and thoroughly before eating. You see, I talked about vegetable. I talked about how a lot of our vegetables, you can get a lot of all these stuff because materials develop from our vegetables, because you know the sand, the soil that they are being planted in the process where they are bringing them from farms. Many of these vegetables are not properly cleaned. So, and the water they use in cleaning it, maybe those people that are selling it, is not always clean. So why we are trying to protect, when you want to prepare when you want to prepare your vegetables, especially, please add salt inside that water and wash the vegetable one by one. Separate it, wash it one by one. It takes time, but please do it. So if you pour, what is that called? Pour salt, use salt and water. Use it to wash all these vegetables. People that used to take ugu and milk, I said one of the way you are introducing infection to your child is because you are giving them all these raw vegetables, all these vegetables, all that vegetables. It's not only ugu. They said these vegetables work. Just juice it. When you juice it, add this to it, add this to it. It will help the child. Please, I'm not saying you should not do it, because if I said that, oh, this thing is not work, I know a lot of people will come for me. But let's even leave that one for today. While you are doing, please ensure you blanch. What does it mean for you to blanch? Now, let's say you want to take you go and maybe you want to use it to make a smoothies, for example. Add hot water. You just want to add water for a few minutes. Add hot water, remove it, and then you can now do whatever you want. Because by the time you pour that hot water, it will help kill the bacteria on it. Boil your water, add hot water, allow it to soak, then remove it. That's how you blanch. And then, especially when you want to juice, I did not say when you want, because you are cooking, process it properly. then cook properly, steam whatever you want to use to cook. But when it comes to blanch, you that you like to juice, you like to use it to make smoothies, please blanch your vegetables before you get it done, so that you reduce your risk of having infection. Avoid close contact with sick individuals. Teach children to keep a safe distance from somebody that is coughing or sneezing. So tell them, if somebody in their class is sneezing, let them move away. The person might not have manners, might not know that they are supposed to cover them. Let the child cover up in those areas. Encourage the use of nose masks for children, for people, for teenagers and above, or yes, for teenagers 12 years and above, they can use nose mask. But please don't go and use nose mask for children. No, don't go and use nose mask for children 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. You don't use nose masks for them. I just go to beg you. From 12 years and above, they can use nose face masks. They can use it, especially during this period that we want to enter, during this rainy season. Safe practice when they are outside a home. If they are going out, let them carry hand sanitizer, because they might not have access to soap and water. Encourage your children not to share utensils, because that's another way where they can, children sometimes they are not that conscious of whatever they are eating. This is love. I love you. I love you. Take my spoon. That's to them. But always teach them how to have personal thing, personal hygiene. These are my personal belongings. This is what I use. Don't share it, because they are personal items. Sometimes if you don't go extra mile to explain this to our children, they will they will not know. They will use it. They will do it outside. So you want to see them, okay, this is your cup, this is your utensil, these are personal items to you. You don't want to share. Also, if you are in school, if you have children that are in school, please have a means where you educate. I think I have something that I talked about, how to educate teachers, where you can have a role discussion. Please, like I said in the early time I started, there are some people that are working that we have to teach them in school. Please create a space, create where this child can be washing their hand. So if the child go to urinate, for example, and they are coming, but immediately they use the toilet, because this is a public toilet where a lot of other children are using. As they are coming back, let them wash their hand, let them supervise. It doesn't matter. We need to have some of this conversation with their teachers, because see, the students are at home. They are not always with us at home. They will be in school, and you want to ensure that they are not getting any infection from school. They are not getting it. So one way is to ensure that they are regularly washing their hand in school. Most school provide it, but some school doesn't provide. So if the school doesn't provide it, then you have to ensure that you advocate for your child, so that they can provide it. In each class, there should be a place where the children can actually wash their hand. So ensure, if you have to go extra mile by sending maybe soap, money fresh, whatever brand that you are using, you can send it to them. Send it to them to just ensure that they follow through. Okay, send it to them, because when it comes to management of a child with sickle, you need to work with their class teacher. You need to work with their teachers for you to be able to get good habits. So you want to have that conversation with their class teacher. Let them survive. Before the child eat, during break time, before the child eat, let the child wash the hand. Immediately the child use even though the child is using the toilet 5 times a day, let the child wash his or her hand. And with that, we understand that we are reducing the load of their infection. This is very, very important. This aspect where I talk about discussing with the teacher is very, very important. So let's talk about cleaning water. Always use filter or boiled water for drinking and cooking. I even mentioned it yesterday. The way we are getting, when we talk about the full waterborne disease, is through unclean water. What is the source of your water? Now, sometimes it's not even about the source of the water is not clean. It's about the storage, that water storage that we have at home. Is that storage always cleaned? Hmm? Is that storage cleaned? So if the storage is not clean, you have to find a way where the storage is always clean, so that if by the time the water is coming inside, you are not getting unclean water, even though the source of the water is good. But because of your water storage, you can be infecting your own child. You can be infecting everybody in your house. If that might be the source of having this infection every now and then, that storage water. So even though if the source of the water is clean, for people that doesn't have access to clean water, please, I said you can always boil water in large quantity, allow it to clean to cool down. Get a white cloth. That white cloth is only for what you are saying. It's not, get a clean white cloth, then use it to filter that water. That is going to be the clean water that everybody drinks in the home. So you keep doing it. Store clean water in a clean covered container to prevent contamination. Put those water in places where the hand of small children cannot touch. Because when you know children, they can always dip in anything and use it to drink water. And before you know it, they have contaminated the water. And they don't know. So you want to, and then you don't want to keep shouting at them. Please, you want to regularly, constantly educate. And when you are educating this, you don't want to educate in a way that it looks like you are criticizing them or you are abusing them. Educate, teach them in the right way where they can easily learn. Teach children to avoid drinking from public taps. If you don't want children to drink water from public tap, it means that you are always giving them water from home, enough water that they can drink. So if the child is supposed to take 1 liter or 1.5 liters and you are giving 500 ml to school, the child will want to drink water from public tap. So it means that you must ensure that the child have access to clean water outside. If not, you will not be able to avoid it, even though when you are teaching them, because they are thirsty and they want to drink water, they will drink any available water. That is children for you. And it's not their fault. They will drink any available water. So if you don't want them to drink any available water, while you are teaching them, you also ensure that there is provision in case they want to drink water. Teach them how to avoid sharing their bottle to minimize infection with. So one of the things we do is preventing malaria. Yes, how do you have to use insect-treated mosquito net. When it comes to preventing of malaria, it's not one way is not enough. You have to ensure that you are constantly taking your prophylactic anti-malaria. For people in Nigeria, one of the most common one that we give is paludrin for people with sickle cell, paludrin or what we call programine. See, ensure that your child is constantly taking it while you are also using treated mosquito. If you know that you cannot use mosquito net, because when it comes to malaria and parasitic infection, you want to regularly take care of your home around you. You want to constantly fumigate, maybe once in 3 months, so that you can get rid of these cockroaches, house flies, whatever that can spread infection. So even your kitchen, you want to ensure that everywhere is well cleaned. What are those in a stagnant water? You want to ensure that there is no stagnant water around you. You want to ensure that you have access to clean environment, no bushy environment, places where rodents. Yes, it's not only malaria that parasite that causes infection. So we have malaria, we have cockroaches, we have mosquito, we have housefly, we have tetanus fly, we have many of them. We have rats. Yes, one of the things that causes Lassa fever and many is rats. So you want to ensure that even though when you are at home, you are putting your food in a well-tight containers, while tight containers that rat cannot enter, so that they cannot go and contaminate all the food, and you will not know it. By the next morning you are not seeing they left, then they've contaminated all the food. Even all these their excretors, it can mess everywhere. So you want to constantly ensure that whatever you have in your kitchen is fully protected. The water you drink, the food you are eating is well stored, so that no insect, nothing can get inside of it. And then you're constantly fumigating your home, so there is no any of these parasite, um, any of these what is it, vectors, any of these vectors, they are not available. So with that, you can reduce the way you get infection. So seek medical attention in case you notice symptoms of malaria. So lifestyle and nutrition to boost immunity. So we talk about hygiene, which is like I tell you that is very, very important. So we are talking about the other aspect now. There is no how you are going to prevent infection without you boosting your immunity. Yes. One way immunity in sickle cell is greatly affected is because of some of the micronutrients that we lack, some of those things that we lack. So how you can actually help your body to build this immunity is by eating the right food. Children with sickle cell have higher nutritional needs due to increased red blood cells turnover, a higher risk of infection, and potential malabsorption of certain nutrients. Like I said, sometimes our body we lack some nutrients, so you have to be intentional about those things so that you are not having deficiency of this. You have to be intentional with your food, with the food you eat. Proper nutrition strengthens the immunity and reduces infection risk. See, why you are reducing infection is very, very good with hygiene. Like I said, it's going to cut 50%. But what about your own immunity? Because sometimes you cannot it's not foolproof. You can even be inside a vehicle and somebody decides to sneeze beside you. Public transport. And somebody decides to start sneezing. Let's say you are going from here to another place. It's going to take you up to 1 hour. And then you now sit down beside somebody that is constantly sneezing. Or your child, they are coming back from school. They decide to sneeze beside somebody that's constantly sneezing. You know, they get home, they wash their hand, but sometimes maybe the droplet it has find a way to maybe contaminate their body, and then in fact they can get that infection through that. So if you now ensure that they reduce the way they get infection, but once in a while we can always get exposed to this infection. Yeah, there's no 100% method. There's no 100%. So how do? You ensure that they have access to the right nutrition, their immunity is increased. So how do they have right access? How do you use nutrition to improve their immunity? Number one, drink plenty of water to prevent dehydration. Plenty of water. This is immune booster. Drink water. Drink water. Drink water. There's no how you want to do. Ensure that you are teaching your child, that you are giving them a system that allow them to drink water. Let them be constantly hydrated. Let them be constantly hydrated. Let them be constantly drinking water the right way. Drink water the way you are supposed to drink water. Please ensure you are constantly teaching them a system. There's this class we did and I think it was February, 10 days hydration challenge. And a lot of people during that class, we are able to ensure that people have a right method on how to properly hydrate their child. This is not just about everybody is drinking water. It's a method that I created that help parents to teach their child how to create a system that works and they can regularly drink water. So ensure that you are teaching your child, let them drink water, proper water. Drink water. Eat balanced food that is rich in protein. I used to say it, if you live in sickle cell, high proteinous diet is important because some of these things, all these things that you need in building your immunity, all your B cells, all your D cells, everything, they need protein. So protein is what will actually help them. So you need to eat a good food, balanced diet that is very rich in protein. Eat high proteinous diets. So we are not talking about only protein, we are talking about healthy fats, food that is balanced, complex carbohydrates. So this is the time for you to be drinking Coke. Eh? This is not the time for you to be drinking Coke, or you to be drinking what will not benefit, or you to be eating noodles. I used to say it. Why are you drinking? Why are you eating noodles? Why is a child with sickle cell doesn't have any other food apart from noodles? And you want the child to have a proper immunity. How? Somebody that's already dealing with compromised immune system. You are not giving them food that wreck their immune system. No, no, that's not it. C, vitamin A, B, C, D for infection resistance. Vitamin A helps to strengthen mucosal barriers and white blood cells. Where can you get your? So when you are eating food, you ensure that they are drinking, they are taking a lot of vegetables. See, when we talk about vegetable fruit, vitamins and minerals, these are good micronutrients. And these are what we are talking, vitamins and minerals. They are the micronutrients. These are the ones that help provide. You know, when in our primary school, when they teach us about classes of food, they call this micronutrient. They say food that fight against infection. So you need them a lot in your body. So your child to be taking, instead of them to treat to go and drink Coke, let them take a lot of fruits. Let them take a lot of vegetables. Let them take a lot of you have sweet vegetables, you have fruit that are very, very delicious, that are very sweet. Sorry. We have fruits, we have vegetables, just include it in their diet. So somebody say, oh, I'm always taking fruit. You are living with sickle cell. You are taking fruit once in a week, and you say you are taking fruit. Please, you have not even started. You are yet to even start. Why are you taking fruit once a week? You are supposed to be taking fruit every day. That's exactly how you are taking good food. So do you say you take do you eat food every day? Every food, as long as you are taking food, your food must be balanced. So it must have good protein, a lot of protein. It must have good carbohydrate, complex carbohydrates. It must have fat and oil. It must contain vegetables. It must contain fruit. That's exactly how it must contain water, lot of water. So every plate of your food, you are eating all the 6 classes of food in the right proportion. That is what we call balanced diet. That is exactly how you build your immune system. Vitamin A, vitamin C, boost white blood cells, help in wound healing. You can find it in orange, strawberries, tomatoes, guava. Just eat food. People say, oh, it's because there is no money. Please, how can you say there is no money? It's because you want to go and buy you want to go and buy strawberry. There are always fruits in our locality that you can buy. Fruit. Just buy fruit in their season. Buy fruit in their season. Vitamin D is essential for bone health and immune response. You can find it in egg. When I talk about eating good protein, egg is very important for you when you live with sickle cell. Why are you not eating? Why is egg not part of your food? Okay, I understand you are not taking food, but eat a lot of protein, even though if you are not eating eggs. And believe me, you can use egg in any dishes. You can add it to bake. You can do it, you can fry it, you can take it as scrabbles, you can boil it, you can have different ways. So if you say me that, oh, you don't want to eat boiled egg, please, what of fried egg? And when you want to fry it, you can even put a lot of vegetables, your carrots, your green peppers, your boiled peppers, and all of these things. You can add it into your eggs. You can even add your sliced ugu and put it into the egg. You will eat it. That is how you load your body with the right nutrients. Fatty fish, exposure to sunlight. Those are the things that help you to get natural vitamin D. So I talk about the role of zinc in immunity, why it matters. One of the things they talk about vitamin and mineral. Let me not even bore you with a lot of message. Vitamin and mineral, take a lot of food, take a lot of vegetables, eat the right food, eat good food that help your body. Food to avoid that weaken immune system. Sugar weak your immune system. You have some people in sickle cell, you always see. I will tell you, at a point in time, I was addicted to Fanta. I had to call myself to order. I was very, very addicted. There's no day if I'm eating food, I will tell you that, oh, I'm using it to step down. So if I eat beans, I will use Fanta to step it down. Sometimes I'm taking up to 3 bottles of Fanta in one day. In fact, of recent, I went out. Was it this week? Somebody want to buy Fanta and the person pay 500 naira for it. I said, Fanta is 500, and this person said yes. I said, oh, Fanta. I said, thank God though. Because just imagine I'm using almost 1,500 to eat every day to be drinking Fanta. Remove sugar from your diet. Processed sugar, refined sugar, processed food. What are you doing with it? Why are you eating noodles? I mentioned it the other. Why are you taking noodles? Sodas, artificial juice. You ask people say I take a lot of fruit. I'm taking a lot of juice. Then the next thing you are buying processed juice, artificial juice that doesn't contain 10%, that doesn't contain up to more than 20% of the remaining thing. 80% of it is nonsense that they pack inside. That's what you want to eat. It will wreck your health. So let's talk about probiotics. I like to talk about probiotics because I know how you are going to talk about gut. You will talk about probiotics. See, probiotics are good bacteria in this body, and this thing help in gut health. So let me talk about gut health. If you he said the gut health is home to 70% of the immune system. A healthy gut prevents infection by maintaining a balance of beneficial bacteria. When God created our body, He created it with a lot of good bacteria. Some of our harmful practices, what is killing this good bacteria? And then by the time you start constantly having this infection, you are constantly taking a lot of antibiotics. These antibiotics will kill both the good and bad bacteria. So there is a way you have to build your immune. That's what you talk. We take probiotics. There are people that take probiotics. You know you can always get their supplements now. You have supplements that they are good probiotics. Even though most times I believe that you can always get it if you eat it well. There is no point for you to buy the supplement. Yeah, it's most time expensive, but you can get it. Number one, take yogurt, unsweetened one. Not always say, Kevin said we should be taking yogurt too, and before you know it, you are now packing sweet the process of you get good yogurt, Greek yogurt, unsweetened one, the one that is not sweet, the one that does not have sugar. That's the one we ask you to go and take. Oh. Don't go and take the one that has sugar. Hmm? Tap water, akamu water, these are good probiotics. So sometimes you might want to make your pap at home, because when you make your pap, as long as you are not eating and you are not producing it at home, you might not be able to be 100% sure. But when you produce your pap at home, you can see, you can check your YouTube to check for trainings on how to prepare all this pap if you don't know it. Pap water, you saw those fermented water, it is very good for your health. Kunu, drink kunu. So when you said that I don't want to take soda, oh, take it. When you say, oh, I cannot do without soda, please replace your soda. Do something, use yogurt to replace your soda. Take yogurt instead of you taking sodas. Instead of you taking all those artificial, take kunu, take sobo, prepare it at home. Bananas, they are very good. Bananas and garlic, we call them prebiotic. They are food that feed good bacteria. So when you eat banana, your good bacteria, they develop. So when somebody is always constantly having yeast infection, it's because they are not taking good probiotics. So you see somebody, their digestive system has issue when they eat, they cannot, they have issues, gastrointestinal issues, they are always getting infected, they're always having yeast infection. It's because of so you need to take a lot of probiotics. Your gut health is 70% to your immune system. So you need to be conscious of involve probiotics in your diet. So if you have a child that's constantly drinking all these nonsense artificial juice, please just replace that juice with proper one that will help their body and give them with a lot of probiotics. Another thing that helps to build immunity is exercise and stress management. Engage in mild to moderate exercise to improve blood circulation. If you are exercising your body, it helps to improve blood circulation and it helps to build your immunity. You are stronger. Avoid stress and overexertion. See, that's not the only thing I want to say. Sleep properly, have a good sleep. Why are you not sleeping? Hmm? Create a sleep routine for your child. That is exactly how you help their body, because when the body sleep, the body start to repair, the body start to do this, because that's the moment when your body is making repairs. That's the time when they are trying to help you. So when you are constantly stressed, you are affecting your immunity. There are a lot of stress hormones in your body, free radicals all over the body. Then how will you not have a lower immunity? It's not possible. Practice rest, sleep. And sometimes when a mother, if you as a parent, if you as parent, if you are not resting properly, how will that child rest? How will that child? Some people don't have a sleep routine at all. So it's anytime they want to sleep, they just sleep. It's in the night that people want to watch cartoon. So these children want to watch cartoon, they now watch cartoon from 7 to 11. Why is a child awake at 11? What kind of cartoon are they watching at 11? Hmm? And these are the things that reduce, that give them low immunity. So if a child has sickle, you have to constantly include this into their diet. Okay. Penicillin prophylaxis for children okay. Penicillin, if you have a child between 0 to 5 years, please, they are supposed to be the same way they take folic acid. They are supposed to be taking penicillin because penicillin help to reduce bacteria, deadly infection, pneumonia, and sepsis. And this one is very common in children with sickle cell. So if you have a child with them, after you have done, I used to pray like me, whenever I'm teaching, I believe that because there are so many people that come to me that they are on penicillin, yet the child is always having infection. So it's not only about focusing on medication alone, it's about you combining all the methods together. Combining all the methods together. When I was sharing a story at the beginning, when I talked about a child that was constantly having, the child was on penicillin. And that was why the mother was extremely tired. So we had to include hand washing. By the time we created our hand washing and then we did other things, change the diet and everything, the child is doing okay. So it's not only about one approach. So everything that I've said, hygiene is very, very important. Then after you've done hygiene and you know that, okay, that's where you can now start talking because for me, prevention is better. So you take antibiotics prophylaxis. Daily penicillin is prepared for children with SCD from infancy until at least 5 years of age to prevent infection. Now, if your child is above 5 years, at, uh, penicillin is no longer needed. So what do? You have to focus on other means of infection because hygiene is paramount. You have to focus on everything we talk about hygiene. So focus on food, focus on lifestyle. Those are the things that will help the child. Focus on things that boost the immune system, food that build the immune system, personal hygiene, regular hand washing. These are the things that will give them results. When to discontinue antibiotics, if the child is older than 5 years and they are fully vaccinated and has no history of severe injury, the doctor may stop penicillin. Most time they stop at 5 years. And then now, for people in Nigeria, I hope we know that a lot of children, even with zeros, they are not even on penicillin. So this is why you cannot even joke with other methods. Because you can even talk to your doctor, said maybe they have hematology, they will not give the child penicillin. And the child is constantly coming up with infection. So what do you do in that case? So that's why you have to practice all those things. And that's the reason why I didn't put it as number one thing to do. Vaccination is when I talk about vaccination, I'm talking about immunization because like immunization is very, very important in defense mechanism against infection that pose risk in people with sickle cell. If there are some infection that you're supposed to take because a child lives with sickle cell, they're supposed to have a second dose. And other children that are not living with sickle cell, they just need one dose of it. So let's look at the recommended vaccine for pneumococcal vaccine, PCV. Because this PCV, between the age when you have a child, between that is 0 to 9 years, they are going to take PCV. But for children with sickle cell, they need extra dose. They need extra dose, like they need to top it up. Like, okay, if other people have taken it after 9 months, or maybe after 12 months, they don't need, or after 18 months, they don't need to take any immunization in Nigeria now. But that is for people that are not living with sickle cell. If your child with sickle cell, you need to go back to the doctor and let them give you a routine so that the child can take those those other dosage. Okay, they just need to give them a booster dose. That's what they are taking, a booster dose to help strengthen their immunity again. So in case of pneumonia, they have to take, I think, A2. They have to take at A2 and maybe take a booster dose. Hemophilus influenza type B vaccine. This also prevents infection that can lead to meningitis, pneumonia, and sepsis. Meningococcal vaccine. For those that are in North, they have access to this meningococcal vaccine. It is free. But for people that are in Southwest, it's not included in, because they believe that people in Southwest, they are not at risk of meningitis. So if you have a child living with sickle cell, you have to pay. See, this booster dose, you have to pay for it. It's not free. Other vaccination are free in Nigeria presently, but the booster dose for people with sickle cell is not free. So you have to go to the hospital where you can get it, and then you pay for it. You pay for it. So hepatitis B vaccine is it prevents liver infection, and which can be severe in sickle cell patients. So you have to take it. COVID-19 vaccine, and we know that there is no COVID-19 again. So maybe if you are traveling to a place where they have COVID-19, you need to get your COVID-19. So I think we are done. Simple but effective strategies like vaccination, antibiotic prophylaxis, good hygiene, proper nutrition, and malaria prevention can make a life-saving difference. Everything that I've discussed today, they are foolproof. I like, these are things that work magic. See, I intentionally designed this slide and talk about the antibiotics, prophylaxis, and then the vaccination. I because I know that there are some people that some people cannot afford to actually collect pay those monies for those vaccination, for booster thing. So, and if they can do whatever they are supposed to do, it helps reduce their infection drastically. And when we talk about prophylaxis antibiotics, it's only for children, it's 0 to 5 years. So what of those people that have 6, 7, 8 years? So if you have 0 to 5 years, you can always let them talk to your medical doctor about putting your child on penicillin. And now there's always something I used to say: if you have a child with sickle cell, it is important for you to actually register that child under a federal medical center or a teaching hospital where you can have access to an hematology. Just go for their clinic maybe once in 3 months, and then you'll be fine. So go to their clinic so that you can always have, because when you talk to many of our general practitioners sometimes, and you're talking about sickle cell, they might not really understand. But if you're talking to maybe an hematologist, in fact, if you're seeing a child between 0 to 5 years, they easily place them on penicillin because they know that this is important. But for other children, they will not. If your child is only seeing a general practitioner, they will not place the child prophylaxis on prophylaxis antibiotics. So what I'm just trying to say is that have a discussion before you take any medication. Have a discussion with your medical doctor. Talk to them about your concern. Okay, if they feel that the child need prophylaxis, they are going to prescribe it. Please, they are going to prescribe it. But in the process, whether you get that prescription or not, that's for children, that people that have children between 0 to 5 years. Whether you get it or not, see, what I'm going to tell you is that focus on what we have discussed in the beginning. Hand washing, do not joke with it. Washing of their mouth, personal hygiene, do not joke with it, please. When you focus on this thing, you are going to get results. Like I said, there is nobody that I work with that will go through this that are not getting results. Their infection reduced drastically. So these are simple. Every method when it comes to management, they are simple methods. The only reason why people think that it is hard is because they don't apply it. It's because see, it's not about the method as simple. It's about the consistency. People don't want to do it consistently. You just want to wash hand one day and you don't want to do it again. So anything when it comes to management of sickle cell, your diet has to be every day. Your washing of hand has to be every day. Brushing of your teeth every day. Your personal hygiene, cleaning of your house, cleaning of your neighbor, reducing vectors, reducing all these animals that can actually spread infection at home is a must. It's something that you must do. You know, cleaning your environment to be clean. Why? You see, you get to some people's house, there is a lot of, you know, bad sanitation. You see, they have this thing inside their house, this um all these dirty dustbin is there loaded from A to Z, and you have a child with sickle cell. Before you know it, the child is getting infection. That's where they are getting those infections from. So all what you just have to do, you have to practice a 360 approach when it comes to prevention of infection, and then you are going to get results. And like I said earlier, even though if there's one thing you want to run with that hand washing and cleaning of environment. If that is the only thing you can run with, please do it efficiently and you're going to get results. I don't have to deceive you. Do it and you're going to get results. So in everything that we are doing, just let us ensure that we practice, we apply whatever we are learning, we practice, and then we are consistent with it. Consistency, that is what gets results. If you do it once in a while, or you do it one today, tomorrow you not do it, you will not get results. And that is not my fault. It is because you have to implement before you get that result. So tomorrow we are talking about management. So because every time we talk, we have to talk about the management. We have to talk about diagnosing and management. So what are the how can we diagnose infection in people with sickle cell? And how can we manage it? And then what are emergency? How do we know that this is an emergency? How do we handle emergency in of infection in sickle cell? How do we recognize this is infection rather than crisis? Because sometimes it can be linked together. You see, like a case of somebody that have an osteomyelitis, the person will start having pain. But how do you differentiate between this osteomyelitis and sickle cell pain crisis? Those are the things we want to discuss tomorrow. And then I think by Friday, we have, I'm trying to give us a little bit of, I don't know how we are doing. Maybe we just work on something on the group where we just have to have a discussion, a scenarios where we discuss about it and everybody can actually share their opinion. So no matter what we do uh, I will let us know on whatever you want to do on Friday. But tomorrow we are talking about diagnosis, management, and emergency of infection in people living with sickle cell. So this is going to be the end of the class. Do not forget to watch the replay. If you are listening to me, please do not forget to watch the replay. And whatever you're doing, you can always ask questions. If you cannot ask here, you can always ask questions on the group. So thank you so much for joining and thank you for staying all the way all through. So goodbye and see you tomorrow. Bye.